Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Indeed, Monday morning greetings to all of you everywhere. Welcome to the start of a brand new week. I am Pearson Bowen. I couldn't wait to see you today. How do you do? Thank you so much for joining us right here at CBC on TV8, also on our streams on Facebook, YouTube, and our website, cbc.bb. To all of you, thank you for joining us. Very good morning indeed. Here's hoping you have a tremendous week ahead, one filled with success and possibilities and just dreams to be fulfilled. I hope you have a really, really good, engaging week indeed. So welcome, one and all. I encourage you always, if you know of something or someone who has a story to be told and you think we should tell that story, then tell us about it. And you can do so by sending us an email. Our email address is morninbarbados@cbc.bb. morninbarbados@cbc.bb. To all of you, thanks for doing so. So how was your weekend? We had a chock-a-block weekend in Barbados, didn't we? Had a Sandy Lane Barbados Gold Cup on Saturday. Well done to Jolan Samuels. The cup is back in Barbados. Well done to him and his connections, indeed. Congratulations all. On Sunday, yesterday, was International Women's Day. I know we did have that walk from the clock tower up to Hastings Rock and back. And the numbers of you who showed up in full support of that activity as well, well done. Laugh It Off was on. It was sold out. Well done. So much happening in a short space of time. I hope you take time to breathe just a little bit. Life is just hurtling down the road. To what end, you ask? But I want you to take time for self and to ensure that you stay on top of everything that's important. Also, last weekend, we began the sale of socks for this year's Down Syndrome Day. Now, World Down Syndrome Day is coming up on the 21st of the month. And so our countdown is on in Barbados to rocking our socks on Friday, the 20th of March. Friday, the 20th of March. Friday, the 20th of March is the day on which we will be rocking our multicolored socks. And so sale has already begun. Sale of socks has already begun. And so this year's theme is Together Against Loneliness. Oftentimes, in our own ignorance and in our own bias, we tend to separate people. And because a Down's child does not look like another child does not mean that child ought to be separated against. And so, we're together against loneliness. We are together against loneliness. Down's children are warm and engaging. They are loving, and they are actually like all of us. They do the same things that we all do. And so I want you to have a greater appreciation for people living with Down syndrome. They are just absolutely beautiful. But in purchasing your socks, you're giving support to the Barbados Down Syndrome Association. And note the locations, note the dates. Last Saturday, we were at Sheraton Mall. This coming Saturday, we will be at Sheraton Mall again and at Sky Mall. And you will know because you will see the banner at the table that says the Barbados Down Syndrome Association. Those are the legitimate retailers of the socks. Those are. And so I want you, don't just walk on by, stop and purchase your multicolored socks. Rock your socks. It's not a gimmick, but it's an opportunity for us to stand in support of people with Down's syndrome. And so I want you to know more about that as well. And of course, as you just saw at the bottom of your screen, you can also make donations directly into Royal Bank, RBC Royal Bank of Barbados. And you can do it to the account in the name of the Barbados Council for, well, you can also get your socks on the Barbados Council for the Disabled, but you can do it to the account of the Barbados Down Syndrome Association. Bulk orders are encouraged. 10 pairs and up. You can contact the association at the number there on your screen, 843-9948. 843-9948. And, you know, because we want offices, we want groups, church organizations, everyone, everywhere across this island on the 20th of March to rock your socks. I want to see you rock your socks. So on the 20th of that Friday, we want you to take your pictures and send them to us. Whether it's in the office, it is at home, it's your children, it's the adult, it's whoever. rock your socks, take your pictures, and send them by email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. So get ready. But your purchase of the socks, those funds go towards helping the Barbados Association of Down Syndrome. So I really want you to give up and give out a lot indeed. All right? Fair? Thank you for doing so. All right, our question of today, because as you know, this is how we do it every single day, really takes you into reflecting for just a moment. How have Barbadian and Caribbean women shaped the strength and culture of our society? How have Barbadian and Caribbean women shaped the strength and culture of our society? Do you have a thought on this? Can you give me a call with your thought? I'd love to hear from you. That number is 228-5562 or 228-5563. And of course, if you have a comment to make because you're somewhere else you can't get to the phone, you can post your comment in the comment sections on Facebook and our YouTube streams. So, how have Barbadian and Caribbean women shaped the strength and culture of our society? What's your thought on this? How have they done so? Because we do see a lot of women today leading literally from the front, and they influence in so many ways, not just as a dancer, but as choreographers and heads of different organizations. They've done a lot. So how have Barbadian and Caribbean women shaped the strength and the culture of our society? We tend often to only see them in the realm of business and politics, but there's so many other areas in which society's culture has been shaped by our women. And so we want to give me some examples this morning by calling me on 228-5562 or 228-5563. I'm waiting to take your call. This week is Glaucoma Week in Barbados, and so there will be opportunities provided everyone. That silent thief of sight is always lurking. And so there are opportunities this week for you to have your eyes checked. It's important to have that check. And so these are free opportunities. Before the day is done, we'll show you those locations and why it's important for you to understand what glaucoma is and how perhaps you are living with it and you're not even aware because it's so subtle. It just changes so slowly, and over time you will see. If you have a family history, perhaps that's a predictor of your potential for glaucoma. Get to know a whole lot more about it this week. Also coming up today, we'll be taking you into a couple faculties at the University of the West Indies at Cave Hill. They are having taster weeks, and so we want to share with you what's available in those faculties and why you should sign up to study at those faculties. And then what are the opportunities that flow from those courses of study at the University of the West Indies? I know you want to think of, but I put all that time in, then what should I do with what I got? And so we'll share with you a little bit more about that as well today. Also today on the show, there's a book that chronicles the life and the times of the one I call one of Barbados' best creatives ever, Jackie Opel. It's been re-edited, and so the people behind that re-edit will join us this morning to talk more about the launch of that re-edit, and that launch is by invitation. I'll share with you the invitation in just a little while here on Morning Barbados as well. But Joe Jackman, good morning to you indeed. A wonderful today to you. Hoping you have a victorious week yourself. Pat Ben, good morning. How do you do, Pat? As always, we know you're there. You make mornings so special for all of us because we connect with you yet again. So Pat, thank you so much for waking up to keep us company. David G, good morning to you, David G. They're in Tennessee. How do you do today, David G. Sullivan? He's saying good morning to me, Sweet Ron's and all the crew, indeed. And so, Sweet Ron's, you've had showers? Oh, Sweet Ron, so fortunate thou art. I didn't get my morning rain as I'd love to have, but good to have you as always. Eleanor, good morning to you. A tremendous Monday morning to you as well, Eleanor Griffith. Morning Barbados, she sends, and greetings to all indeed. Blessings indeed. Vereen, good morning. Happy Monday too. She is wishing all of you a wonderful week ahead. So to you, Vereen Walker, thank you so much for logging in and keeping us company. Call. How have Barbadian and Caribbean women shaped the strength and culture of our society? What is your thought on that? And if you have none, what should I tell you? What should I tell you? How do you think I'll feel? Carol Martins, good morning. She says to everyone, have a beautiful today. Greetings from cold and rainy Portugal. Good morning to Carol Martins. Thank you so much for keeping us company and viewing from Portugal. It's wonderful having you company and watching as well. Share the show, share the love, build a community of people who come together every morning to make a difference and to learn more about how they can make a difference to self and to their community as well. So 228-5562. or 228-5563. Of course, you can interrupt me at any time as we get going this morning. But don't forget, Friday the 20th, rock your socks. All until then, I want you to read up a little bit more about what Down syndrome is. It is not a sentence on anyone at all. It is no one's fault, as a matter of fact. But what I have found, and what you will find when you get to know and meet and engage with children with Down syndrome, is that they are so beautiful in spirit. Beautiful in spirit, and they're beautiful physically as well. But I am telling you, it's amazing. I cannot begin to imagine life without having had this opportunity to engage with someone who is a Downs. And so, get to know more. That's why you rock your socks. That's why your contribution goes towards helping the Barbados Down Syndrome Association. That's why in your reading up and you're getting to know more about the condition, you have a greater sensitivity so that we all stand against loneliness. That's what we do to children who look a little different. We tend to put them aside and say, don't let anyone look at them. And so parents of children with Down syndrome, this is your moment to bring them into the light. And I encourage you never to put them into darkness ever again, because they are just like everyone else. My godson, an amazing little man. He knows how to navigate every device on earth. He knows that. We have conversations. And mind you, there's a spectrum, and there's some who are not as able. He goes to regular school. He does regular things. He takes care of himself. He does his own shopping. He does everything. I made sure he gets to be able to operate within this lived experience. And so I want you to have that degree of compassion and understanding of children and people with Downs. They are just like us. Now, James says, when I asked the question, how have Barbadian and Caribbean women shaped the strength and culture of a society, that our Prime Minister is showing the world the strength, the intelligence and grit of Caribbean women with their fight for climate change and other issues affecting us in the region. James, thank you. But remember, the light is always on politicians and those leaders. Who else in our society have helped to shape the strength and culture of our society? Think about it. All right. This morning, let me take you on a break, and then I'll come back and take you into the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And to get
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
14 past the hour. As happened last week, this week shall it be as well, as we continue taster sessions at the University of the West Indies. These sessions are designed to give all of you looking to pursue courses of higher education to get a sense of what's available and how to get in, and then what happens when you graduate. All of that you get to see, but you get also an opportunity to engage with those who also administer education and training at the University of the West Indies, like the Dean of the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts in Professor David Akombo. Professor, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining me this morning. And why is it such an exciting faculty?
Well, Thank you very much for having me here to speak briefly about the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts at the University of the West Indies at Cave Hill campus. It is the youngest faculty in the UWI system, the 9th in the UWI system and the 7th at Cave Hill. It was founded in 2020. The reason for founding this faculty came a long ways from the government to the industry to the higher education. The blue economy has dominated everything in the past and in the present, but there are additional elements to the economic growth, the orange economy. So the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts was developed at the background of those initiatives, so the orange economy. So the faculty develops programs that tap into the cultural industry, the creative industry, to develop Barbados and the Caribbean, to tap into the growth of the 21st century economic development of the region.
Simply to standardize in a sense, I suppose, just who we are, because everything you do in that faculty is just who we are. And who would have thought in one's lifetime that there will be a course of study in just who we are and what we do? And so break down for the undergraduate, what are the specific areas that are available for study at the UA in that particular faculty?
Yes, so we were founded 6 years ago, and during this moment, we have founded several degree programs. We have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Cultural Studies. We have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance. We have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Music with Education minor, and a Bachelor of Fine Arts with Music Special. We also have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance. And those are the undergraduate courses. Mm-hmm. For postgraduate courses, we have Master of Arts in Creative Arts. Then we also have a Master of Arts in Caribbean Studies, Culture Studies at the moment. We also have PhD programs in Culture Studies, and then we also have creative-based programs which combines both theory and practice. So we have a PhD practice-based and MPhil practice-based. Those are our degree programs. And they are very interactive, very interdisciplinary in nature, and we actually adopt many students from different backgrounds who have a creative and cultural niche, and they develop that alongside other disciplines. So it's very interactive and very informative.
It sounds very interesting as well.
Yes.
And so who comes? How does one enter and become a part of this course of study?
So our programs are very standardized in a sense that they accept the CX graduates, CXC graduates, and CAPE graduates from the Caribbean. And also they must have had some background in the creative domain. Some of them do private lessons, for example, in music, in dance, in theater, in film. So we take all those into considerations. Our prospective students are usually interviewed, so they have to pass a component of the creative domain in order for them to be placed appropriately and begin at an appropriate level. And this does not scare any student who does not who cannot dance, who cannot play music. We meet them where they are and develop them from there. So they might have an interest, but they don't have the experience. And that's why the faculty exists, to tap into those existing potentials. We tap them and then grow with them and develop a creative, cultural creative for Barbados and for the Caribbean, to tap into the economy and also develop the area.
Are you pulling students from the region as well, and outside of the region into this faculty?
Yes, indeed we are, because the University of the West Indies is a regional university. The Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts is the only faculty in the region, in the UWI system, that develops the culture and the creative degree programs. Other campuses have smaller programs, but this is the only faculty. So yes, we attract students from Barbados and also from the region. And we also have a few, not so many, but a few international students outside of the Caribbean enclaves, yes.
I'm just trying to imagine how exciting it must be to have all of these cultures coming together, people with different expressions but similar message. And so talk to me about the energy in the room when one studies in any of the courses that you have, so that I get a greater sense, and those who don't know yet know, a greater sense of why they should be a part of that energy?
That's a fantastic question, because the Faculty of Culture is rooted in the Caribbean. So the Caribbean cultures have founded the background of our faculty. So everything we try to root it into the Caribbean, but we have these international cultures within our system, which we also tap into that. So we do comparative studies of cultures, but we make sure upon graduation they know something about the Caribbean cultures and tap that into their other disciplines so that they are aware of what's going on in the Caribbean. So yes, we accept other disciplines within our cultural studies, but we focus on the Caribbean. That's our main niche, the Caribbean cultural studies.
I could see students there all day long, because the passion for culture, the passion for one's artistic expression keeps you in the space once you have enough people around who are of like mind. And so generally, what's a day like on campus for anyone who is a part of the faculty?
Well, the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts is one of the most exciting faculties at the UWI Cave Hill, because we attract students from other faculties, Faculty of Medicine, Medical Sciences, Faculty of Science and Technology, Faculty of Social Sciences, Faculty of Law. We have students from those faculties coming to minor in our creative and cultural disciplines, and they enjoy. They come to dance, they come to play music, they come to do theatrical work, they come to do film, they develop film projects. So yes, we are very integrated into the other faculties. So that's what makes us very exciting. It's a vibrant faculty, and the students who come to the UWI Cave Hill to study law, medicine, social sciences are usually attracted by our programs. They can minor. Now we have just developed new minor programs in technology and music, for example. So we are doing these things to inspire our young people in the universities to know that education is holistic. So even if you're just studying medicine, you can still take a minor in theater, and that's okay. As a matter of fact, we've had a program in theater working with the student of medical sciences to use theater to teach in the learning of emergency medicine. So those integrative approaches are what make us very, very attractive to the students at Cave Hill and also in the system.
We oftentimes see the traditional science subjects as being so methodical, but there is a methodology to creative expression as well, and that you take time to be able to teach.
Yes, absolutely. That's a fundamental question, because the creative domain, we bring students in to create, to develop their creativity. And it's very philosophically challenging to teach somebody how to create something, yet it's supposed to be a self-created initiative. So we tap into their domain, into the creative domain, and inspire them to create whatever comes to their prowess. And then we mold them. We make sure that they're going in the right direction with their creative approach, so that the end product is not only regional, but universal and standardized, so they can take this product, whether it's a dance choreography or a musical composition or a film documentary, whatever it is in the creative cultural domain, that they can sell not just locally but abroad. So we narrowed down into their creative domain and expand it professionally, because we have expertise in our faculty who are specialized in these areas and guide the students to develop that product to the highest level possible that they're happy with.
This is really interesting, and it's all in the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts. We get to know a whole lot more about what else happens in there in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources. He'll give you the people. Not only will He equip you with ideas, but He will equip you with favor, as He did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
25 after the hour, we're in the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts, and Professor David Akumbo is with me right now as he is the Dean of the Faculty, but he shares with us the excitement and the opportunities that would flow therefrom. And so, Professor, this is Taste of Week. What are some of the things that are happening in this Taste of Week so that folks can now really come and see for themselves and get a sense of what the faculty offers?
Yes, thank you. This is a very exciting week for the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts at Cave Hill. This week, we have dedicated it to be the Taster Week, where students in high school or even primary can come and have a taste of what we are offering in our faculty. Students can come and sit in a dance class and try the moves. They can come and sit in a music class and try some of our musical instruments and some of the lessons there. They can come and try our theatrical programs, try to do the spoken word and things of that nature, come to the cultural studies and see what we are doing in the Caribbean culture area, and also just have a taste of what we are doing so that they can develop that understanding of what we offer in the faculty, so that when and if they do come to the UWI Cave Hill, regardless of what they're coming to study, they can think about taking one of the courses in the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts that inspires their academic and personal growth in terms of education.
Whether your studies in cultural studies, dance, film, music, or theatre. And of course, if you could go back to the slide just before, because I want people to get a sense of the dates and the times that you can have. There you go. Look at your screen now, everybody. Look at your screen. These are the Taster class schedules. And so in cultural studies, there's a class Wednesday from 4 to 6, Tuesday from 1 to... Get familiar. Screenshot it, go look for yourself, or go to the website. The information is at the top of your screen as well. You can scan all of that. And so from now until the end of the week, this is the week in which you get a chance to come sit in, get a sense of what's happening, and then you make a decision. But it's also an opportunity for parents to bring along their children to also get a sense of what's happening and how they can now begin to fulfill their dream in a very structured, formal way in the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts. Yes. And so at the end of it all, we become the professional dancer, is that it? Or do we find ourselves going into other expressions of work? Very
good question, and that's a concern for all parents in Barbados, in the Caribbean, when students come to study in the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts with these degrees in theater, degrees in music, degrees in dance, in film and culture studies. What they do with those degrees? Well, the Caribbean is on its growth, and the culture and the creative industry is part of the Prime Minister's initiative of the Orange Economy growing. Our alumni will find themselves working in different cultural domains in Barbados and in the Caribbean, in tourism, in media, in the faculty, in Department of Culture, museums. So they are all integrated into this economic development. So yes, and some of them want to be entrepreneurs. They can develop their own small businesses, and they can work with the government and private sector to develop those small businesses in the creative area, the arts, the culture, whatever one has inspiration for. Mm-hmm. They can get some help from the banks, for example, small loans to start those businesses. So yes, we have entrepreneurs who want to work for themselves, but we have those who also can tap into the ministry, into the government as well, and be hired with those degrees.
All right, entry points. What do I need to have to be entered into the faculty? Accepted into the faculty.
We are very standardized. We go by the CX grades and also the CAPE grades. So they have to pass those and then be a standard invitation to the university. The admission process is very standardized, even for the Faculty of Culture. However, the Faculty of Culture goes just a little notch higher because not a notch higher, but more inviting, because we also tap into the creative aspects of the students. So they may just be on the borderline, but if they're very creative, they have a chance to enter into our faculty and improve from there. They can come as fully matriculated students or just beginning. So we accept most of those levels, and that's what makes our faculty very open and very appealing to most students.
For the undergraduate, there are postgraduate studies as well and doctoral studies. So all of it happens within the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts at the University of the West Indies. This week is Taster Week. There are a number of sessions to which you are invited to come and to see and to sit in, to engage with, to ask your questions, to get your answers. And so I want to encourage all of you this week long, from now till the 13th, sit in, listen, engage, and get a sense of what studying in the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts at UWI looks and feels like. And so you can just walk in with your Barbados Community College ID and you can engage with it. So all of this available to you. There's a virtual information and question and answer session on Thursday, this Thursday, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Zoom. But you need to get the information for that. So go to the website and see for yourself. Their social media platform is rife with a lot of information. They're well populated, so get to know more and show up. Be a part of it indeed, because this is for you, Barbadians, as we continue to express ourselves. We have viewers across the globe, and so if you're thinking that you're looking for that place that helps you to hone your interest, this is one faculty as well that can help you to do so. Professor Akumbo, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're very welcome.
And we will see you all at the Faculty of Culture, Creative and Performing Arts. Future creators, future cultural icons. Thank you.
That is such a wonderful way to end. Thank you as well. We're coming back with more in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources, he'll give you the people. Not only will he equip you with ideas, but he will equip you with favor, as he did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solar Ray Microbiome Probiotics and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
98.1 The One. Your number one party station. With an audience from 18 to 40, we keep you engaged, energized, and entertained. Choose 98.1 FM, The One.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely, and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, but not everyone has someone they can...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We are 26 minutes now to go to the hour of 7 o'clock as we turn our attention to what really, if we don't take care of it, will cause us to go dark. And life suddenly becomes different. We're talking about glaucoma and its prevalence in Barbados. And so we're focusing on that this week. It is in Barbados Glaucoma Week, perhaps globally as well, under the theme, Uniting for a Glaucoma-Free World. Is it possible? Perhaps the doctors can tell us, as I'm joined by Dr. Dawn Grosvenor, who is a lecturer in ophthalmology at the UWI?
UWI.
All right. Dr. Kendi Griffith is an ophthalmologist at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. And with her is, are you doctor?
Doctor.
Dr. Kiowa.
Kiowa.
Clark, indeed, an ophthalmologist with a special interest in glaucoma at the QEH as well. And so let's talk about this for a little while. Dr. Dawn, I know you've been at this for so long.
Quite a while.
Reminding us of the importance of having our eyes checked.
Yes.
Because it truly is a silent thief of sight.
Yeah.
And as I was saying at the beginning of the show, sometimes we're just assuming I could not see because I was not meant to see, not realizing that our range is shrinking. Let's talk about this. What is glaucoma?
Now, thank you for having us, first of all, and we have been at this for quite a while. And we try to really bring this message every year to educate people and to give them opportunities to screen for glaucoma as well, and really to bring a message of hope, because that's what we want to really emphasize this year as well. Even though we know that it's a disease that could cause blindness, there is so much possibility in saving your vision, preserving it for your whole life if it's detected early. Dr. Clark and Dr. Griffith at the QEH, you know, normally you just see my face alone, but now we have reinforcements. So really, you can see how we're expanding through the university and sort of trying to get that message out in many different ways through many different persons. So Dr. Griffith did a talk on Saturday where she delved into what is glaucoma, talking to people about, because getting out in the community is so important. It's one thing to be in our little silos at the QEH or the university, but really this is about community work and getting out and talking about it. So I might let her share a bit about what she shared with the community about glaucoma.
What is glaucoma?
Yes, thank you so much for having us. So glaucoma is a disease of the optic nerve. It's a group of diseases that affects the nerve of the eye. Now, the nerve of the eye is what really allows us to see. We each have a nerve in each eye, and that nerve connects us from the outside world to the in. So it takes light into the eye and allow us to see and process the visual information that we receive. Of course, with glaucoma, the nerve becomes damaged. And as that nerve becomes damaged, that results in vision loss. Now, the vision loss as a result of glaucoma is very gradual, it's progressive, and it's usually painless. And that's why we call it the silent thief of sight. How glaucoma works and the way it damages your vision is by taking your peripheral vision first. And so it's all on the outskirts, and we're unaware that this visual loss is occurring. We keep and maintain our central vision initially. And so that's why we're very cautious and aware and warn persons that they need to be checked regularly for glaucoma. The glaucoma damage that occurs is irreversible as well. So we want to catch it early before that damage occurs so that we can, maintain lifelong vision.
What causes the damage?
Yes, so there are multiple risk factors for glaucoma. One of the major risk factors for glaucoma is high eye pressure. We'll hear about pressures in the eye causing this nerve damage. And so that's one of the major things when you come in to be screened that we're checking, your eye pressure. For the most common type of glaucoma, we're not really sure of the exact cause, but definitely risk factors being high eye pressure. So we're pushing that screening for the pressures to make sure that we can get those pressures down to prevent the damage to the nerve.
I can hear everyone say, but I was born perfect. Where did this pressure to my eye come from? What did I eat? What did I do? What caused it?
Yes,
what would you say?
That's a good question as well. So there's nothing specifically that you do. There's no lifestyle factors that cause the pressures to go up. For whatever reason, you might have high eye pressures and that results in the damage. So there's no specific cause that results in the high eye pressures.
Is there a link to high blood pressure?
Good question as well. So there's no specific link to high blood pressures either. One of the risk factors for glaucoma though is family history. So we talk about if you have a first degree relative with glaucoma, that might be a risk factor. So if you know you have a first degree relative, when we talk about first degree relative, we're talking about like a mother, a sister, a brother that could have glaucoma. So that's one of the risk factors for glaucoma. Also just being black, the African descent, that's a big risk factor for glaucoma as
well.
Black
don't crack, but here we are.
Can't have it all.
Can't have it all, right?
Yeah, and also age, as we age. Really? So yes, so as we age, we can develop glaucoma, and we find that is more prevalent in the aging population. And so that's why as you get older, and we promote the screening for glaucoma as you get older. So we insist on persons being checked at least from the age of 40. If you have a family history of glaucoma though, we suggest that you're screened a little earlier than that.
And a lot of those checks are free this week. This week all across the island. I know we do have a graphic that shares with you some of the places you can go this week. This is part of the beauty of what happens in Glaucoma Week in Barbados, where ophthalmologists and optometrists are open to be able to help you. Look at your screen, folks. Look at your screen and see where you can go this week for your free eye checks, so that you get ahead of the game, so that you get to manage if it already has been found, and so you get to do so free of cost. It sounds to me, though, that because Bajans, we will rush, that we need to manage the flow of people to these locations. So what do you suggest?
We're encouraging people to call their nearest eye care professional. Even if they can't see and they don't remember to screenshot these things on the screen, they can find, the optical places and the ophthalmologists in the directory, or you might know someone, maybe you have glasses already. Just call and they'll tell you when they're screening and when they can go.
So you just said something got me there, because you had glasses already. So for us who wear glasses already. Yes.
Now, when you get your eyes checked for glasses, it doesn't mean that automatically you have an eye pressure check, but most of the persons who will be checking persons for glasses are the optometrists. Those are the optical places. And they are very well trained in checking for glaucoma and checking your eye pressure. So I always encourage persons, when you go to get any eye test at all, ask the question, did you check my eye pressure, what it was, so you make a note of it. Now, if you see the ophthalmologist, we're the doctors, we're the ones that have come through medical school and then did extra training in ophthalmology, and we can go on to diagnose and do surgery and things like that. We can also check for glasses, so you may have a full eye test and also a test for glasses. But you should always ask the question, because it's difficult as a patient when you go in to know exactly all these different tests, what we've done. Best thing is always to ask the question.
Always ask a question. And the test is actually there's no pain at all. It takes almost little to no time for them to get a sense of it, because I've had to do mine pretty often as well, because I do have the first, what do you call it?
First degree relative.
Right.
Yeah.
And so to ensure that I can see for as long as I could possibly see, as well as I could possibly see, not just through the spectacles, this has to be done. And I'm just revealing to all of you, having myself had hypertension, going through all of I think I told you about this before.
Probably.
And it's important, particularly so because the optic nerves are so sensitive. And given what my experience was, I have to have it checked often enough to avoid all of that. And so I want to encourage all of you today to go to any of those locations we just shared with you, or call your optometrist, your ophthalmologist, and ask when can you come see to have your eyes pressure checked this time around. Come have it checked. And you're suggesting, Dr. Griffith, that the more I check, with the increased frequency, the likelihood is that I can begin to arrest this as quickly as possible.
Yes, definitely. So glaucoma, we say there's no cure for glaucoma, but is preventable. As I mentioned, the vision loss from glaucoma is irreversible. So we want to catch it before it gets to the advanced stages. There's no way to regenerate the nerve. There's no way to bring back any vision. So what vision is lost is gone. And so that's why we encourage you to be tested as early as possible, from the age to recommendations, to prevent that damage because of the irreversibility of it.
Dr. Clark, I haven't forgotten you.
It's okay.
Dr. Don, again, prevalence of this problem, glaucoma in Barbados.
Very prevalent. I always say, if we're in a room with a group, someone has glaucoma, or they have a relative, a friend, a co-worker. You might not know it, and this is why we encourage persons, if you don't know your status, go and get checked, because you might be the person in that room who doesn't know. The prevalence in what we would call the global north, the UK, the US, is quite small, 1 to 2%. In Barbados, many times more than that. 7% of our population over the age of 40 has glaucoma. And we know that for sure because we had the Barbados Eye Studies, which were coordinated with the University of the West Indies and 2 other entities overseas, Johns Hopkins and Stony Brook in New York. And that stretched from the 80s to the 90s, looking at all kinds of eye diseases. Because I'm here in my university capacity, wearing my university cap, And that was one of the real landmark studies to come out of the university in very early days when there was no other information on glaucoma in populations like ours, West African descent. In fact, that was the largest study at the time on a population of West African descent. And that proves that our prevalence of glaucoma is very high. 7% of that over 40 population equates to thousands of people in Barbados with glaucoma. And every time we screen, every year we screen, we kind of count up the numbers and see if that is still maintained, and it is very much maintained. What we are seeing in the clinical sphere now is younger persons under the age of 40 developing glaucoma, maybe in their 30s, and that might be related to this family history link, because part of that high risk we think we've inherited through the West African diaspora. So if you look at West African studies now and studies in persons of West African descent in the north, you see that there's a similar high prevalence as well. In the Barbados Eye studies, they also did a family study as a spin-off and found that there is actually a particular genetic link within the Barbados group that helps to account for why we have a higher prevalence as well. And this is why, you know, it's such a common disease. I think many people watching would have heard about glaucoma and might even have an experience or have somebody in their family or a friend circle that has it.
I can hear you, folks. So then what do? We'll share with you some of the options available to you right after this break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
13 to the hour is Glaucoma Week in Barbados, and so there are many optometrists and ophthalmologists who have made themselves available to you this week for free eye pressure screening. It is important that you take hold of this because the statistics are not cute. They are definitely not cute. And so if you need to, remember, check what we've shared with you. You can also check the Barbados Eye Screening Program. What's it called? How can we check for the information?
If you, on Facebook and Instagram, Barbados Glaucoma Week, you can email us, glaucomaweek@gmail.com, and we have a number as well, 826-1580.
826-1580. It's right there, 1580. So go check and get your booking in as soon as possible. Call ahead to ensure that your optometrist or ophthalmologist is available at the time that is comfortable for you, or make an arrangement. Indeed, that's important. But what do? You hear it. What do? Do you just give up? I say no. Dr. Clark, what do we do? What treatment options are available so I manage when I get the diagnosis for glaucoma?
So as Dr. Grosner and Dr. Griffith mentioned, glaucoma causes irreversible optic nerve damage, but blindness is avoidable once picked up early. So what do we do once we pick you up? Well, there are many treatment options. Most people will know somebody who's on glaucoma drops. All right, that's usually the first thing people are put on. But there are actually a myriad of options available to us now. There are things such as laser, which we can offer to patients with mild to moderate glaucoma, may even prevent them from having to use some of the drops. We have small glaucoma surgery, which is commonly combined with cataract surgery. And then for persons who have very advanced glaucoma and we're struggling with the drops and we're really trying to save their sight, we have big glaucoma surgery, which it can be a big deal for some persons, but very good results. And we've saved many persons' vision with that.
We don't like the word surgery. Surgery scares everybody to the living hills. And so, but you're talking about very minimal invasive, and while you have the recuperation, it takes a little bit, but it's not impossible.
Yes, so I mean, when we're talking about eye surgery, particularly glaucoma surgery, most of it is done under local. So it's small surgery, as you said. Recovery, most people thinking, when am I going to be able to see? And usually that is many times the day after surgery. So you don't have to wear this eye patch and pad and pirate patch for days and days and days. You can actually move around and do most of the things that you were doing before. And the benefit is that we now are able then to control the pressures and therefore prevent the avoidable blindness.
We assume that with laser surgery, that we go back to 20/20 vision and never to happen again.
So treatment aim in glaucoma is really not improvement in vision, because it causes irreversible damage. Where our aim is really maintenance. We want you to keep what you have for as long as you're on the earth. So that's our main treatment aim. That being said, if there is some improvement, we will gladly take that as a bonus.
I would too. You want to add anything, Dr. Griffith, to that?
Yeah, so as he said, all of the treatment for glaucoma is usually painless. So we give drops, we give laser treatment, those are painless. And surgery, he mentioned local anesthetic, which means we numb the eye so you don't feel any pain during. So it's not something you need to be worried about or scared about. And as he said, recovery, you usually recover fairly quickly.
Dr. Governor just said to us that she's noticing from the study, it is noticed from the study, not she's noticing, from the study that more and more younger people are presenting with glaucoma. Are the same treatment options apply, or?
Yeah. So the same treatment options apply regardless of age. So whether or not you're younger or older, you're going to receive the same treatment. As Dr. Clark mentioned, sometimes we can offer laser first, try to get you off of some of your drops, because some drops can cause some symptoms, and if we can get you off of some of those drops, that will be good. But of course, drops are painless, and then we can go on to surgery.
And of course, we want to advise you if you're diagnosed with glaucoma, severe glaucoma, that's not the time for you to be driving. That's right. Because your vision is already decreasing, the range of vision is decreasing, the scope. And so that's not the time for you to be driving. So you have to be honest to self and recognize, that your capacity has changed. And in that change as well, you need to protect yourself and others around as well. So it's a family discussion. I think it's important to have that kind of family discussion so that everybody around you supports you at that particular point in time, or even so they have an understanding. And sometimes that support is taking away those keys from you.
Yeah. This is a very important point, Pearson, because you have a response. People have to remember that they have a responsibility to the community as well. Most people with glaucoma will retain their vision their whole life. They may not even need surgery. They'll be able to drive. But if you are getting to that point of severity where you know you have a problem, it's really important to be upfront with that. And family support is really helpful and really critical, because driving is really linked to your independence. And sometimes persons want to stay in a state of denial and pretend it's not happening. But you don't want to get to a situation. If you see on the screen, these two pictures are very similar. The vision loss in glaucoma is very tricky. That picture on the left is showing what you would see in normal vision. Children crossing the road, riding behind a ball. A situation that can happen on the road at any time. In the other photo, you see that the vision loss from glaucoma is so subtle. The brain is very tricky. It doesn't give you black spots and say, this black spot is glaucoma. It just takes away little subtle things. And in that second photo, you can't see those children crossing the road. And that's a disaster waiting to happen. Nobody wants to be in that situation. We advise people all the time about their ability to drive. If they have a question, if you're not sure, your doctor can test for that and give you an idea of whether it's safe or not. But a lot of it is coming down to the person's individual experience, because oftentimes before you come into us, family members or patients already have a sense of whether things are going a certain direction. And it's important when you start to see those changes to start putting things in place so that you don't go one day from boom, driving to not driving, but you're starting to put things in place so you have other people who will rally around. You decide how you're going to transport the children, how you're going to do the different things you need to do. It's just a matter of adapting to a new situation. And we all have to do that in life.
Indeed. But we need to understand the severity by having our eyes checked all week long this week, absolutely free of cost. And many optometrists and ophthalmologists, that's one of those words that type it out. And so we want you to grab hold of this opportunity this week. It's free, absolutely free. Look And of course, if you want to know where and when, 826-1580, 826-1580. Other locations are the National Disabilities Unit. There's a health fair coming up on the 11th, Wednesday, from 9 until 3, and you can have your eye checked then. Or the Maria Holder Diabetes Center in Warrens, Wednesday and Friday. But all week long, all of those other people you see on your screen say, come. We don't mind. We'll do this for you because it's important that we help you understand what you're managing and dealing with as well. So you have greater understanding of the treatment options that are available, not just eye drops, but perhaps laser surgery. And so, Dr. Clark, let's talk a little bit about that because it's minimal. Am I in a typical hospital setting to
so
have it
if we're
done?
speaking specifically about the laser,
yes,
there are different types. The primary one is done in the office. It's done on a machine similar to what we would normally use when we're doing your general eye examination. It takes 5-10 minutes. It's painless. The most you have to do is get some drops before and afterwards, and it usually takes about 3 to 6 weeks to start seeing an effect. So it's not immediate, and usually by 3 months we would definitely know if it has worked. It works in about 85% of people, so it's not for everyone. And we can only judge once we've tried it. But it is a very effective method of lowering the pressure and reducing how much drops patients have to take.
Is that the one where we see people with those dark glasses thereafter, wearing because they can't deal with their sensitivity to light has changed?
So this is actually a fairly low risk procedure. Downtime is 0. You actually don't have to wear the shades, though some persons do complain a little bit of some mild light sensitivity afterwards. But within a day or two, they're back to normal.
And when we have to wear those dark ones, what happened?
So that's usually if you have more major surgery, like cataract surgery.
That's
because
something
of
a little different now.
like he mentioned, the light sensitivity. So with that procedure, the light sensitivity is a little more, and so patients will be encouraged to wear the glasses, and then they will be it will be more comfortable for them as well.
Would you recommend now children 15, 16, teens in their teenage to come have these eye checks as well?
So I would say, obviously, if you're having a family history, we usually say, if you're over the age of 21, of course, we still encourage children to get their eyes checked. But for us, it's usually, at the age of 21.
Because glaucoma is very rare in children. I always try not to panic the parents. Glaucoma in children is almost a different manifestation, whereas in adults it's very hidden, and it can happen from birth to any age in childhood. But the little babies and the younger ones, their eyes manifest differently, and usually a pediatrician or a parent will pick up something that's a bit off about the eyes and bring the child to be checked for that reason. Older children should be getting their vision checked to make sure they can see for when they're going to school, maybe just before the common entrance or as they're doing exams, and usually those checks will pick up if there's another issue, because glaucoma is far down the list of things to worry about in a child's eyes, in childhood. So these checks are really for adults.
Big people, you and me, we need to go check our eyes. We really do need to, and we need to do so often enough, because as we always hear the catchphrase, prevention is better than cure. Early prevention helps us to be early. Diagnosis helps with help us to manage all of this as well. And so this week, all week long, there are opportunities for you all over this island to have your eyes checked for free. I know coming up on Wednesday, you're having something as well.
Yes, so the UWI is running this screening booth for glaucoma. This is about the second or third year that we've done this at the health fair that's being held at the National Disabilities Unit. That's sponsored by Carla Laboratories, and they always give us a booth that we can do screening and education. I'm very proud of that because we always have the medical students come out and join us. We have doctors, and when people think of lecturers, they think of us in the classroom and very stuffy. But actually the clinical lecturers in Faculty of Medical Sciences, we're the doctors that are working at the hospital, and then we get the opportunity to do work like this, community work. So we really like to encourage all the students to join us. So we have undergraduate medical students who might join us, postgraduate students who are training in ophthalmology. Sometimes we have persons who are not UWI affiliated but just join the group because getting out into the community is really important. So we run that booth from 9 o'clock in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. It's usually very busy, but there's a lot of other things going on at the health fair as well. So we encourage people to come out to the health fair, get their eyes checked, get the eye pressure tested, and then they can participate in the other health checks that are there as well.
I like the inclusivity of it, though, because people with disabilities also have challenges with glaucoma. That's why this is important indeed. And then on Friday, you're having something as well in the foyer on the ground floor of the QE.
So the ophthalmology department now is going to be taking the mantle, and they did an excellent booth at the QEH open day already. So they're reprising that role again. Our nurses are coming on board, doctors in the ophthalmology department, technicians in the ophthalmology department, because the ophthalmic technicians are a group you don't hear so much about, but they're quietly in the background doing eye pressure checks and your visual field tests and those sort of things. So everybody's coming together. They usually will do quizzes with little prizes, so it's usually a very dynamic booth. So look out for that. QEH, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the foyer.
So keep on social and you will see when and where and how important it is for you to be there as well. Dr. Grosvenor, again, good to see you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we look forward to hearing more from you. Dr. Griffith and Dr. Clark, good morning and again to all of you, and thank you so much for lending your expertise to this cause this week indeed. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's free to everybody. Morning Barbados is back right after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Let's look at the news now. A study by the Inter-American Development Bank and discussions with the Barbados Police Service show that gender-based violence remains a serious concern. That disclosure from the Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs, Adrian Ford, yesterday. Speaking at a service at the Ellerton Wesleyan Holiness Church to mark International Women's Day, Minister Ford said the studies and police information point to a continued need for sensitization and education on gender-based violence. He believes public awareness can not only educate people but also help reduce crime.
The surveyor, which looked at the statistics as it relates to gender-based violence. And coming out of these discussions, what we have realized is that there is still a very real need for public sensitization and discourse. And we don't probably need our IDB surveyor to tell us that. There is need still for public discussion about gender-based violence and violence against the vulnerable categories in this country.
Minister Ford added that his ministry has been placing information in highly visible public spaces to raise awareness and to help curb gender-based violence.
We have started across the country to put the ads and on the bus stops, using them as the billboards and the short videos signifying the importance of respecting our women and our vulnerable groups. There are 11 so far. We intend to go across the country because we believe that we must be sensitive to the role, the virtuous role that women play in our society.
Chief Cultural Officer at the National Cultural Foundation, Andrea Wells, is calling on artists to use their voices and their art to shine a light on women's experiences and gender issues. Speaking at the opening of the annual Changes Art Exhibition, she said this year's showcase will feature the work of 31 male and female artists. They will each raise awareness about the experiences of women. Ms. Wells says the exhibition's direction was carefully considered to foster understanding and a thoughtful reflection on women's experiences.
Our exhibition focuses on the life cycle of a female. The exhibition Changes was born out of a conversation between our curator, Onika Small, and Ms. Carol Toppin about life, aging, and the pains associated with menopause. Ms. Toppin's suggestion was a show about menopause and the many challenges it brings physically, socially, mentally, and emotionally. The focus was subsequently widened by aiming to highlight the complete female's life cycle in art, and therefore capturing all of the changes that Homo sapien females grow through during our time in this realm.
Minister of Private and Public Investment, Indar Ware, is calling these times the most difficult any government can be asked to serve. The re-elected MP for St. Philip South made the comment yesterday at the thank you service at Gemswick Nazarene, where he told constituents that their votes signalled confidence and satisfaction in his performance. But he also stressed that the global landscape presents unprecedented challenges for the administration ahead. Mr. Ware noted that while all is not perfect at home, people in other countries are in worse situations, and he specifically referenced the ongoing conflict in the Middle East.
I believe strongly that you're never going to get a perfect score, certainly not from me, nor from the government that you have elected. But what you will have is strong leadership. You will have resilience, and you will be protected as we battle what we consider to be the most delicate, but equally the most difficult of times that any government in the history of Barbados have been asked to serve in.
Minister acknowledged that the safety and well-being of citizens rely heavily on government leadership, especially during crises.
Your protection, your safety, and all that you may long to be resides in the strength of the government you have elected and the leadership therefrom. Your children and your children's future reside with us. And I give you my solemn pledge that for as long as I am your elected member of Parliament, I will do everything to make sure I serve you with dignity and indeed with the support from my team that you deserve.
Barbadians are being warned about the silent threat to their sight by glaucoma, one of the leading non-communicable diseases which is responsible for vision loss if left undetected. The caution came yesterday from Minister of State and Ministry of Health and Wellness, Davidson Ishmael, at a service at the Church of the Nazarene to mark the start of World Glaucoma Week. Here's a report from Rachel Agard.
Glaucoma is a group of chronic, progressive, and typically irreversible optic nerve diseases that are increasingly recognized as a major non-communicable disease and a leading cause of blindness. Primary open-angle glaucoma is one of the most common. And Minister of State in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Davidson Ishmael, says thousands of Barbadians are living with the disease called the silent thief of sight.
7% of Barbadians, which is 1 in 14, age 40 and over, have the most common form of glaucoma, primary open-angle glaucoma. And over the age of 50, that number increases to 1 in 11. And of course, over the age of 70, it further increases to 1 in 6 persons.
Minister Ishmael stressed the need for early detection, explaining that regular eye checks can prevent blindness. He says the ministry is refocusing on primary health care to catch conditions like glaucoma before they cause irreversible damage.
Within the QH environment, within the hospital setting, we as a ministry are strategically focusing and refocusing on advancing the message of primary health care. How do we prevent illness? How do we prevent sickness as opposed to then treating sickness on the back end? And we believe that if we invest our funds in the prevention of illness, it would help us in the long run so we have less persons who are advancing in diseases.
And Minister Ishmael encourages all Barbadians to take advantage of the free eye screenings being offered this week. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Let's look at sports now. India are the ICC Men's T20 World Cup champions after thumping New Zealand by 96 runs in the final yesterday. The Indians became the first team to defend their T20 title, winning the trophy on 3 occasions and on home soil. Put into bat, they posted the highest ever total in the final of a T20 World Cup with a mammoth 255 for 5 in 20 overs. Sanju Samson led the way with a knock of 89 as Sharma smashed the fastest half-century of the tournament with 52 off just 21 balls, and Kishan assisted with 54 off 25. James Nasheem took 3 for the Black Caps. Well, in the reply, the Black Caps were bowled out for 159 in 19 overs, led by 52 from Tim Seifert and 43 from their captain. Boomer snatched 4 wickets, Patel picked up 3. Here are the highlights. Well, that's a look at news and sports. This morning, we'll have more news and sports here on TV8 coming up at 12 noon. Morning Barbados is right back right after this break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
13 and a half minutes now after 7 o'clock. I am absolutely thrilled because one of the people who I've always looked up to in radio, while he spent his time in radio, is Professor Mike Allen. He's right here with me this morning. So I have a real special honor for the very first time to say good morning to you, sir. How do you do?
Good morning to you.
It is so, thank you for the work you've done in radio. You brought class, education, and information to radio, but at the same time you excited us with the music selections as well. So I thank you for that. I remember the days of liberty.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And of course we have Dr. Marcia Burrows.
Not a problem. I too listened to Liberty.
Yeah, those were the days.
Toto.
Listen, don't start me, because I was actually doing some looking through some music the other day, and Toto was it for me. Just the whole range, that whole discography is fantastic indeed. And that's Mike. That's Mike. And so, folks, there's an invitation extended to one and all this Wednesday to be in the 3Ws Oval, the Pavilion, for a relaunch of sort of this book that chronicles the life and the times and the contribution of what I've always said to you has been one of Barbados' biggest cultural exponents in Jackie Opel. And Dr. Marcia is one of those who co-edited the book and also co-wrote with Dr. Elizabeth Watson.
No, Dr. Elizabeth Watson is, let's share cultural studies. She was one of the first graduates, the first person to enter cultural studies. She always wanted to do Jackie. She wanted to excavate Jackie. She said, Barbados don't know, I'm going to dig him up. And so her text, if I may do some shameless selling, her text is a digging up and all the work she'd done on Jackie. So it speaks to Jackie, the life, confirms that he was born in Barbados, because there's still some out there in the other islands and perhaps in the diaspora who aren't aware that Jackie was really born in Barbados, down in Chapman. I'd say to the Barbadians, we always remember the riots, July 27th, 1937. Jackie was born August 27th, 1937.
Wow.
So just to remind ourselves, and she found the birth certificate, so the book is full of a lot of lovely tidbits for us to review. And then she traveled the life of Jackie, so we chronicle all of the work he did in Jamaica. Again, Barbados was not aware he was the king of ska in Jamaica. If you listen to ska, Scatolites, voice of Jackie Opel. So 3 years running, he became, won the various trophies. He came back to Barbados probably 1967, 68, kind of lay low for many reasons. But in 70, he's everywhere. He's performing in all the venues. Pepper Pot. He's performing at the YMPC. He's traveling to St. Croix. He's traveling to Antigua. He goes with the troubadours to Grenada. He's traveling. He's performing. He's doing all. He goes then in 70. He records his album, Accident.
Yeah.
The end. So
March 9th.
March 9th. So today is the anniversary, 56 years.
I think one of the most hurtful things of his story is the copyright.
Oh, please.
Yeah, we don't want to go there, right?
You have Professor Aline. I will just say, I keep saying, can't we get, no. I remember being online with, she became a judge, actually. She's back at KFIL again. And I asked her about the copyright, and she said, it's gone. Now, Elizabeth had constantly warned the various governments, B&D, time is running out. So I believe it's about 2020, it ran out. So we don't get a cent, and we will never get a cent. But his, as Professor Ali will show, his work continues to sell on eBay.
Really, Professor?
Yes, you'll find that there are lots of avid Japanese record collectors who are paying the equivalent of thousands of US dollars for singles. Some of them are just blank. The labels are white label. There's no specific information printed on them. But we're talking about thousands of dollars because, of course, they're out of print. And even if the recordings were reissued, they don't have the same value as the original item. And it's rather interesting that the Japanese have a way of recognizing the value in Caribbean culture that the Caribbean doesn't recognize.
Why do you think that is, that we don't recognize?
Difficult question to answer, but perhaps there isn't a sense of value at the time of the releases and the same kind of cultural investment in the artists. perhaps we just think of them as entertainers and not necessarily as cultural artisans whose work will resonate for decades later.
Yeah.
But you know, even while he was performing,
Yes.
the international world saw his brilliance.
Yes.
They likened him to some other American greats, and the American greats became afraid of him.
Yes, he outshone everybody who came to Barbados. As a matter of fact, Joe Tex performed, and Joe Tex was a major name. He was due to perform again. He said, no, he went to Trinidad. So Elizabeth speaks to it. There were, and at the time, in all fairness, the Barbadians were confident in Jackie, and they actually took out bets and they won. Joe Tex can't handle a Jackie Opel. I think, as I've read Jackie Opel and in her book and learnt more, I can only think of someone who can sing and dance and perform at the same time. There's a video that CBC hopefully will find that he sang, danced up at the hall, flipped, came back down, stayed in key. Yes. But Party Time, 1969, something like that. So there's that. There was, when Elizabeth did her lecture, she spoke about, again, another story of Jackie flipping in the globe and landing in a drum set. Up got Smokey Burke. Smokey Burke said, no, passed. It was my drum set. So it was amazing. It was amazing to watch. So it was a full package. You were hearing the voice, the singing. You were seeing this incredible acrobatics. He could do all these things, and he had this incredible vocal range. So yes, we are hearing now in the diaspora, in the Caribbean, spooge was big. Barbados, it was kind of dumbed down or stummed down or suppressed. Spooge was big, and yes, there's some ratings, but again, I'm back into Professor Mike's area. There was the possibility of spooge could have gone perhaps much bigger than that. Professor Ali, what do you think?
Well, one of the things, since we were talking about ska just now, that is worth mentioning is that Jackie Opel, as Elizabeth Watson points out, was occasionally a stand-in bassist in that group. And we tend to think of Jackie Opel just as a singer, and perhaps on a secondary level as a songwriter. But his versatility was actually even wider. So when we think about the importance of the Scatolites in the 1960s, who in many ways represented the international sound of the Caribbean in that decade, we also have to think of Jackie Opel as forming part of the fabric of their sound. And you were asking about another question just now?
I'll come to... yeah.
He has many questions.
We have that vintage moment.
Yes, you're having that vintage moment. You're in the voice, as we all did.
Sometimes, in the moment, because you are in the Department of Recording Industry at the university where you serve, and so sometimes in the moment we don't recognize the brilliance enough to document that brilliance, whether it's in prose or in sound. Talk to me a little bit about what we're losing when we don't pay attention to the moment.
It's a huge amount. One of the key aspects of Elizabeth Watson's book is the extensive discography. And there's a great deal that we can learn about artists and societies, actually. You know, we have a tendency to think of discographies as merely a list of recordings. But if we know how to read discographies, we can learn a great deal. And this book actually provides a variety of cultural signposts to alert us to the informational potential.
You just sound like her, because I had the fortune. I know Elizabeth well. I knew her really well. She would have come to Stockholm Network when I was there, and we sat in that library as she searched for pieces. I played them so she could listen to it. She'd copy note, make her notes, and so forth. So we had that kind of engagement, and she kept saying the same thing to me as well, that the discography tells a story, and so for her chronicling, doing all of this work was to help to tell the story of the time, not simply to say, well, Jackie Opel sang these songs. And they were produced by this person and so forth. It was to look at what was the message in that moment. And that's why I kept saying the word moment, because sometimes we miss it and we don't spend enough time understanding that when we reflect for just a moment. And I think it's a good set of work for people who work on the air as well. So I would want to encourage on Wednesday that those of you who are on the air, that you come to this and you get a copy of this, because it informs your music selection. It informs the way you do go from one song to the next. It informs how relevant the message of the time in the music by Jackie Opel fits the times today. And so this Caribbean musical visionary is what Jackie Opel represents. The book is co-edited by Mike Haleen and Dr. Marcia Burrows. And so it is being relaunched or launched on Wednesday in the 3Ws Oval in the Pavilion at the University of the West Indies. What time does it begin?
10 o'clock. 10
in the
o'clock
morning?
in the morning, yes.
So come to school for 10 o'clock.
Yes, there was some debate, but yes, it's best to do it in 10 o'clock in the morning. And there will be other occasions, but it is important that and the relaunch, just let me clarify for our viewers, in the middle of Curry Festa, which had 4,500 or something events, possibly, there were many events at Curry Festa, and the plan was, and we did kind of get it done slightly, was to launch on his birthday, 27th of August, 2025. But there were many events. So Ian Randall, the publishers, made an arrangement with the Faculty of Humanities and Education, and we did what we call a soft launch. We did a blast, everyone, the book is here, but it wasn't an official launch. So this now is the official launch, sponsored by the Faculty of Humanities and Education, on Wednesday the 10th, and that's the day. May I just end, so I know we're wrapping up.
No, I'm not wrapping yet.
Oh, you're not wrapping up?
No.
My quick story. My 90-year-old godmother, I met with her yesterday, and she said she took her 4-year-old son to that funeral. The 11th of March is the funeral. Thousands and thousands of Barbadians came out for the march, for the death. One of the interesting things is I keep asking them how. There was no social media. There's no internet. Hardly anyone has cell phones. There's no personal cell phone. Rediffusion announced the death very early on the 9th and kept announcing it on the 9th, on the 10th. On the 11th, the funeral was held in St. Mary's Parish Church in town, packed by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Wow. So apparently those who couldn't get in calmly just walked to Westbury Cemetery. So that when you now came to Westbury Cemetery, it was absolutely packed. My godmother gave me a story that her little 4-year-old, Jackie. So they parked outside of Westbury Cemetery and put him on the roof of the car. In London, when there was this lady who put her hand up and said her parents brought the children down because it was Jackie Opel, so that she was physically present for the burial. And the late Richard Stout said, yes, he was on the bill to sing, but he couldn't reach the microphone because there were so many people that he couldn't get there. So the 11th was, as Professor Udine Barato said to me, it was a celebration. There were some in the society and who constantly just put him down, repression. But the people of Barbados celebrated Jackie on the 11th of March. The people came to the funeral.
That is such a beautiful story. Boy, oh boy, I want to hear more of those stories. But we'll do that when we come right back. And while you think about it in the break, I want you to think of your favorite Jackie Opel song and tell me about it. What was your favorite, most memorable Jackie Opel song? What was it? And perhaps a little bit of a why. And if you were alive at the time, what are some of your memories? I want to hear from you right after this break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're talking about something happening on Wednesday, which is the launch of a book that tells the story of a Caribbean musical visionary in Jackie Opel. And that book launch is at 10 o'clock in the 3Ws Pavilion at the University of the West Indies at KFL. That book launch is for all of us. Every single one of us. As a matter of fact, because of his long-lasting input and difference that he's made to the Barbadian landscape, I think every house should have a copy of this book as well. While it's a story being told, it's also a discography, so you get to see and get an idea of what he's sung, and places he's been, the people with whom he's interacted. You get to see all of this in this one book, and it is co-edited by Dr. Marcia Burrows and Professor Mike Aline. And so, in the break, I asked, what stories do you have? What stories do you have? We just heard a really fun one from Dr. Marcia.
Yes, okay, so yes, it's a day of mourning, but I think we need to look at the 11th. Barbadians treated it as a celebration.
Yes.
They came out to pay honor to. So Elambe, for example, wrote a letter to the Advocate, which they refused to publish. One of the things to note, it was written in Bajan, so this is 1970s. Highly impossible they would have published it. But what Elizabeth did, thank you, was Elizabeth got it, and it's at the back, it's in the book. And he's more or less saying, you know, that the struggles of black Barbadians constantly looked down upon. Barbados has no culture, that horrific lie that we are still beaten with. And it's his response. So it took, 50 years almost to get out, but there we are. There's a lovely letter at the back. Also, we have Elizabeth calls for a sonic archive. She was a librarian over 40 years, but she's saying we in the Caribbean do not archive our music. And this is again where Professor Ali can speak. So that even though we're producing all of these calypsos year after year, decade after decade, we don't. We at KFL probably have the best collection of Jackie Opel music, Jackie Opel renditions, possibly because Dr. Watson worked with Professor Aline. So we really have a lovely collection. But there are others that we should be sound archiving. So there's the life and story of Jackie Opel. She found his birth certificate, his marriage certificate. Did we know that Jackie was married? He was. You know, and obviously there was stuff going on the side, or you wouldn't cry me a river. The discography that Mike spoke about, and then the sonic archive that the Caribbean can make use of, that we can start building our sonic heritage.
In 1963, CBC was formed and opened as Radio Barbados. In 1970, we were just 7 years in existence. And we were formed to promote the sound and the image of Barbados. Mike, let's talk a little bit about that for just a moment. And at that time, to have been able to have such an impact on Barbadians via Radio Barbados and in the Caribbean as well. How relevant was media, do you think, at that time to building the star of Jackie Opel?
Well, it was crucial. I mean, now we live in these fragmented digital media markets, and it's very difficult to get a large number of people to watch anything at one given time. But of course, we have to re-emphasize that Jackie's impact was international, that his foundation for his career as a known artist was really built in Jamaica, even though he, of course, as the book points out, he did spend time in Trinidad as well. So he had to have a live physical presence, and the records had to represent that presence through the electronic media. There were very few other options.
Indeed so. The sonic library, how does that work?
Well, one of the points that Elizabeth Watson makes, and I continue to make it on her behalf, is that there is no national library archive that anyone can access where all of the Barbadian popular music recordings are catalogued and there's no discography. You know, if I wanted to find out, for example, exactly when the Blue Rhythm Combo was formed, and what were all of the singles, and what was the chronological sequence, did they release any albums, what was the change in personnel, that information isn't really there. Yes, you can find someone who can perhaps recall some things, but We in the Caribbean have a habit of relying too much on anecdotal fragments rather than deeply researched and documented and verified information in published bodies of work. So this book is a major step in changing that direction. And of course, Elizabeth had created these discographies on Red Plastic Bag, John King, Informer. So this is another step, but one that goes much further back in time.
Just to see her face, look at this right there on our screens. Look at that. That's my girl, Elizabeth Watson.
Oh yes, probably finals or something where she was commenting, so we became accustomed to her voice, and she either tore apart or big up the Calypsonian. You know,
I enjoyed working with her. Sitting next to her on commentary panels, wonderful indeed. And so her work, her legacy continues through the book, and so. Issue again the invitation to everyone.
I'll issue it. This is there's so many things, and Mike and I are speaking at the book launch, but I really want to say cultural studies. This is a tribute to the work of cultural studies. Barbados is still being bashed. Barbados has no culture, but the cultural studies department is 22 years old. This is what we should be doing. We should be really digging up, excavating, as Elizabeth said. So please join us at 10 o'clock in the 3Ws for the celebration of the life and work of Jackie Opel and the life and work of Elizabeth Watson, who was one of the first of the cohorts of cultural studies. This is the book, Jackie Opel. It's quite a wonderful delight to read. There are 3 or 4 things in it you will enjoy. Lots of pictures. It's very interesting. Preparing for this morning, she kept a record of everywhere he performed. So we know, and this is the final thing for me, on the 8th of March, he performed at the YMCA. The YMCA had a big band bash. One of the bands was the Troubadours, led by Sid Jones. Jackie Opel sang, and then he did his regular gig, which was at the Pepper Pot. It was on the way down from the Pepper Pot that the accident occurred. And he died early morning, the 9th of March, 1970.
And lest we forget, the book exists. So Wednesday, this coming Wednesday at 10 o'clock, 3W's Pavilion at the 3W's Oval at the University of the West Indies at KFL is where we all will assemble in celebration of this man you see on your screen, the late but great Jackie Opel, a Caribbean musical visionary. There will be speeches by Professor Mike Allen, Dr. Marcia Burrows, and others, of course. And of course, your purchase of the book means that you are in solidarity with the brilliance of him. Indeed, but have one in your home. Encourage the children to come out. Those of us in the media, it's important too that we show up and we support. Thank you both.
Thank you
for talking to us this morning. There's a lot we learned from this experience. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Morning Barbados is right back right after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Week after week, Scald presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scald is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that. Scald, a look into the future.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons, which will surprise many, is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end, and what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
If you're interested in a range of subjects and you're still undecided as to what faculty helps you to be able to tackle it all, Social Sciences at the University of the West Indies KFL campus. With me this morning is the Deputy Dean, Dr. Diana Weeks-Marshall. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Pearson.
Thank you for joining us. When I look through in preparation for all of this, there's so much that you'll touch in social sciences. Give us a breakdown generally of some of the areas of study.
Okay, so first of all, let me just give you a little bit about the Faculty of Social Sciences. So we are headed by the Dean, which is Professor Troy Lord, and we've just celebrated 50 years in existence as a faculty. So last year in itself, we had a number of various events where we would have showcased the faculty. We would have had some of our stalwart lecturers and individuals who would have been some of the first cohorts in terms of students that would have attended the Faculty of Social Sciences as well. So that was last year, but we are the largest faculty at the KFL campus. We generally have an enrollment of about 2,500 to 3,000 students. We cater to both full-time and part-time students as well. And this study of social sciences is one that looks at both the individual or the micro level of the society and also the macro level as well. So we're looking at the society as a whole. So in terms of the departments that we actually have, we have three main departments, which would be the Sagicor KFL School of Business and Management. We have the Department of Economics, who will be with you tomorrow to speak more in depth in relation to their particular department and their various programs that they have. We have Government Sociology, Social Work and Psychology, and they will be here on Thursday with you to speak to their programs. But then we also have a number of units as well that are attached to the Faculty of Social Sciences. So we have the Sridath Ramphal Center for Trade, Law, Policy and Services, which is SRC, and they will join economics tomorrow with you on the set. And then we also have the Institute of Gender and Developmental Studies, who will be here on Wednesday, along with the Center for Biodiversity Studies. And then we have, finally, the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies as well. So our gender breakdown within the faculty, is predominantly females. So we have about 70% females. So we're also trying to encourage the males to take up some of our courses and to really, come back into studies, tertiary level studies at the University of the West Indies as well.
Why do you think that is, that there are fewer men than you would want? What's the perception that we're battling here?
I think it is that a lot of the males probably think that there's not too much on offer for them, and they probably believe that a technical or vocational, is probably the way for them to go. But at the University of the West Indies, we are very diverse in our approach, and with the Faculty of Social Sciences as well. So we are really trying to encourage the men to come back out and to be on campus and to, to lead in the various areas, because it's not to say that our courses are geared towards any specific gender. So, the interest should be there. And I would really encourage the young men as well to look at our offering, our course offering, which is quite extensive.
Quite so extensive, I had to look at them myself. Accounting, criminology, cultural studies, economics, gender development studies, international relations, that's what I'm interested in.
Yes.
Management, political science, psychology, sociology, sustainable energy management, and more. And out of those, you can see them on your screen, get a look at them on your screen. All of these programs offered in the relevant disciplines are available to all of you: hospitality and tourism, you know, public policy and management. You know, all of that is right there. So once you go on the website, you will see for yourself. And a degree from SOSI opens up opportunities for you in so many areas of employment.
It opens up so many opportunities, but I would just like to say that those are just the groupings of the categories that you would have seen, but underneath each one of them, if you click on each link, there are at least 10 courses for each one of those categories. When I was in the waiting room, I decided to count the number of programs that we have, and we actually have over 80 undergraduate programs, so for you all to choose from. And then in terms of each of the disciplines can be minored with another discipline or across faculty as well. So you had asked in terms of the benefits of studying with us at in the Faculty of Social Sciences. And I would say that many students decide to go overseas for their tertiary education. But I think that at the University of the West Indies, and especially within the Faculty of Social Sciences, you can get just as good as or even better an education as you would overseas. We are quite thorough. You normally have highly qualified lecturers teaching, and also as well we have a lot of our lecturers who would have come from industry as well. So therefore we have a really good network within Barbados and also the wider region, and also internationally as well, to help you to progress in your chosen career. So yes, sorry, go ahead.
This week is Taster Week, therefore.
Yes, it is.
What are some of the things that are happening so people can come and see what SOSI is offering and get a taste of it?
Okay, so this week, this year, we've decided to focus on having our fair. So on Wednesday of this week, and we're also doing it jointly with the Faculty of Culture and Creative and Performing Arts, who you would have spoken to this morning as well. So this is actually the third fair, the third in the installments of fairs that the Faculty of Social Sciences has put on. Last year, I was told that it was second to none, you know. So this year, we've decided to try to up the ante and, you know, as well as each discipline being there, each department being present, and, you know, being able to interact with the students and to show them what the offerings are, the various programs that we have. We also have aligned it once again with our African Awareness Showcase. So there will be modeling, our students who have our student entrepreneurs as well. They will also be coming out, and you can, you know, see what they have produced or what they are selling or whatever, and you know, you can help to support them. We also have a number of our partners who will be present at the fair as well.
This is on Wednesday.
This is on Wednesday.
On campus.
On campus.
Big tent.
It is big tent. We are going to be on the Guild lawn. So as you drive on campus or you come on campus, you look to your right where the Guild is, and you look the lawn there. We will take up that whole entire lawn. So even if you come for the book launch, the Jackie Opel book launch, we're inviting you over to the lawn so that you can have a look at everything that the Faculty of Social Sciences.
What times?
We are there from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So we've sent invitations out to all of the secondary schools because, you know, that's the catchment area that we would like. So even if you, you know, you can pass through then. We also have invited some of the primary schools as well to be involved in the the fashion show
Right.
as well. So, I mean, it's open to everyone. So even if you're just curious as to what happens on the campus in the Faculty of Social Sciences, I listen to some of the call-in programs, and we're often criticized for not putting ourselves out there, not putting our research out there and different things like that. You're more than welcome to come and to speak to anyone in any discipline to find out more about that discipline and also what it offers and how we actually make the connections for you.
That's this Wednesday at 10 o'clock.
At 10 o'clock.
Drive in to the right, you'll see the area, the buzz of activity happening there as well. Yes. I got to leave it there because I'm out of time.
Oh, dear.
But that's all right. We have more opportunities as the week progresses, indeed.
Yes. So as the week progresses, we will have the various departments coming in each day of this week to speak to you, and they can speak to their programs in more depth.
Right.
I just want to add this one last thing. Why would you choose the Faculty of Social Sciences? So we have a number of MOUs with universities across the region and across internationally as well. One of the highlights as well is that we do some study abroads, and depending on the program that you choose, you might even be able to, go overseas. Free of cost. Last year, I took a number of students to Finland, and it snowed. We did the skiing. They did a particular course and everything. It was fantastic. I was actually supposed to go again this week, the end of this week, with some more students, but due to the turmoil that is happening, we've actually pushed it back down.
So
but there are a number of opportunities, internships, and
That's why. So say. Indeed. There's a rhyme in there somewhere. Dr. Diana, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You're more than welcome.
So, and I can't wait to hear what else flows from the Faculty of Social Sciences as the week continues.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
We're right back with more in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons, which will surprise many, is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end, and what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored by the Living Church of God.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
What we're about to share right now is something I think we all want to hear when it comes to managing our finances, indeed, and as it relates to bad debt. What do we do? How do we get out of that? And so Nikita Gibson, who is a financial educator and a financial literacy advocate, joins us. Good morning to you, first of all.
Good morning.
What do we call bad debt?
Well,
bad credit?
So bad debt is essentially anything in which is not giving you an asset. All right. So anything in which you borrow funds for that you don't have an asset that is going to either be able to allow you to get around, for example, like a vehicle, or something that doesn't allow you to appreciate over time. So like a house, a land, education, actually. Right. So those are the things that you would consider good debts, but anything that's not that would be considered a bad debt.
And sometimes when we have bad debt, we find ourselves with bad credit.
Yes.
What's the behavior that leads us to being labeled as one with bad credit?
So generally that's when someone does not or is not consistent with their payments. So you know that payments are coming up or due on the 25th of the month and you miss a payment or you're a few days late, that actually can impact your credit score. Yeah.
Even if it's just a few days late?
Even if it's just a few days late, the record will show that you were late by, let's say, for example, 5 days, right? And when you start to see certain habits happening, it's a sign to financial institutions that something might be wrong.
Okay.
Now, 2 to 3 days might not be that much of a sign, simply because, you know, you have weekend days. So maybe the transaction, you paid it on Friday, the transaction didn't go through until the Monday. But when you start to see persons going longer than what would be considered, you know, just based on technology or just the use of transfer, and that's why there's a pause. Generally, that's where you see persons getting into bad habits in terms of paying their debts.
Doing it once is doing it once. When do you begin to find yourself being labeled as bad credit? 2, 3 times?
Well, it depends on the financial institution. So I would say that from the time they start to see a pattern, and a pattern normally arises within three payments.
Right.
Beyond that, they start to realize, and most persons or most financial institutions would actually give you a call once you've missed that first payment. So it will start with a call. The moment they get to a letter, then they are seeing you internally as being someone with bad debt or bad credit, and they're starting to take action.
But point to note is every call is documented. So just know that everything is being watched and documented.
Yes.
The question on the mind of everybody then is, how do I get out of that? How do I fix this?
Well, my recommendation to Barbadians is that start with your credit check. Know where you are today. And one of the easiest ways to do that, and they recently actually launched it on their website, create an account with Everydata Barbados.
Everydata
Barbados, yes.
That's EVERY?
Yes, please.
Everydata Barbados.
Correct.
Dot something?
.com.
.com. All right.
All right. So persons can just get their credit check done on Everydata. Now, the reason why I was saying anyone to Everydata is that all or most of the major financial institutions use Everydata to actually check to see what debts you have and your history of payment. So when you get that report, it tells you what your credit score is. Now, the higher the score, the better you are. But it also shows you all of your debts that you have ever had, even the ones that you've closed out. So maybe you had a credit card 10 years ago that you closed. It will show that. It will show things like your mortgage, your land loans, your car loans, personal loans, credit cards. It will show everything. And it will show you for the last 12 months if you've had any late days at all on any of those credits. And this is what, and this is what the financial institutions use. So why not have that information for yourself at your fingertips?
It's at my fingertips now. Everydatabarbados.com.
Everydata
And so you said 12 months just now.
Yeah.
After 12 months, it's the cycle flips and starts afresh?
It's not that it resets. It's just that they always capture or they look at the first 12 months in terms of your report.
Okay.
But the financial institutions would be able to see, for example, if there is, like, let's say, for example, you might have filed for bankruptcy, or maybe you would have actually gone for, there you go. And the first credit report every year is free. That's the report that does not include your credit score, but you still can see all of your debts. So I always encourage persons, log in, create an account, and I don't work with Everydata, but I can tell you that this is how I use it to be able to see what information is being put out there. And it's important for you to know as well that your financial institution is actually sharing the correct information for you.
And that's the whole thing, because sometimes you're not even aware about what information is being put out there about you.
Correct. So I've heard persons reach out and say, well, you know, I checked that report and I saw a debt on there. They're saying that I still owe and I've already paid that debt. So then they had to go into the financial institution. They got the financial institution to correct the information with the rating agency.
And how quickly does that correction occur on everydatabarbados.com?
So the financial institutions have to drive that. So I would always say to stay on them to make sure that they send the updated information. And it should be a pretty quick turnaround. But this is where you should start once you're assessing your debt situation. My next suggestion would be, once you've taken a look and you see all of your debts, you know how much you owe, what's the monthly payment, you know what the interest rate is, it's time to shop around. It's time to see if the interest rate that you're being offered is the right interest rate for you. Is that the lowest currently being offered in the market? And I always believe when it comes to debt, the first thing is negotiating. Always.
Negotiate.
Negotiate.
You still have the power of negotiation within.
Correct.
And in that negotiation, you're looking for something that becomes a whole lot more manageable for you, so that you can begin to clear that debt.
Correct.
And to correct your bad debt rating. Right?
And that's exactly it. So once you are able to maybe get a lower interest rate from the financial institution, and you are then able or in a better position to be able to make those payments consistently on a monthly basis to reduce your debt and hopefully eventually become debt free.
And fix your credit rating.
And fix your credit rating all at once.
Because the creditors are watching your payment pattern. They're watching how you behave, what you do, and that's important indeed. So if you begin to the process of fixing and stay consistent with it, you begin to rebuild trust in that lender. And so
Not
that's
just
important.
trust though.
What?
So remember this. If you're someone who does not pay their debts, you become a bad debt according to a financial institution, the next time that you actually go towards getting a loan of any kind, either you can be declined or they might offer you a loan at a much higher interest rate because you are a higher risk.
Yeah.
You know, you have a default pattern historically. So what they're going to do is maybe you're going for a mortgage, and right now mortgage rates are about 3.5% in the market. But because of your history, they tell you, well, the only mortgage that we can offer you is one at 4.5%, for example. So it actually becomes more expensive for you to be someone who's considered a bad creditor, a bad debt, sorry.
And all the while you're asking yourself, but why? Why? Well, here's why. Here's why. And the best way to understand your true picture, databarbados.com. Open your account, see your information, get a sense of your picture when you release and reveal everything. And then you begin moment by moment fixing those things by making contact with your particular organizations or the organizations who have indicated that you're still owing, and change that behavior. Change it immediately.
Yes.
Nikita, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
You taught us a lot. Everydatabarbados.com. I can see people rushing right now to check it for themselves. I will too, but I'm done here. But thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for today, everybody. My little crew joins me saying to all of you, have a marvelous Monday. By the will of the Lord, we'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.